Welcome to the GB Radio Show. Well, what have I got to talk to you about today? Well, it's basically going to be mainly about my love of Japanese computers. There are three machines that I would love to own. And one of them isn't, well, one of them is straight up and up a computer, and that's the Sharp X68K, the X68000. The machine, to me, is pure sex. Literally, so gorgeous. The machine that I've got my eye on is jet black, and it's just all encompassing. And I mean, as a machine, it truly is a marvel. For me, I mean, I've only really played on a few games, like a handful of games on the system. But every game that I've played on has been some kind of arcade. It's been like mainly arcade conversions. And I've played the Super Hang-On, which is unbelievable on the Sharp. It is an absolutely gorgeous conversion. Now, there is a game which American folk might recognise as On the Ball, but the game was originally Camel Tree, and that's by Tato. Basically, it's a ball in a kind of 3D rotational maze. Converted to the SNES, looks absolutely gorgeous, by the way, on the SNES. However, on the Sharp, they went absolutely mental with the conversion. They give us a maze editor, a ball editor, so you can actually edit the ball. It doesn't even have to look like a ball anymore. It can literally be any shape. And the sprite scaling on it is absolutely unbelievable. And as I've gone through some of these arcade conversions, I've noticed that quite a few of them were handled by a company called Demper, and they're a marvel. I mean, obviously from the content that they've done and things like that, fantastic. I mean, there's also Capcom. I think Capcom handled their own conversion of Final Fight on the Sharp, if I remember rightly. And Final Fight, to me, is fantastic. I mean, what I can't get my head around is the fact that these games are like on floppies. They're on like floppy disks. So that is what totally blows my mind every time. Konami did a version of Castlevania, which looks absolutely beautiful on the Sharp. And there's been, just off the top of my head, there's been quite a number of Sega conversions on there and things like that. There's a Marble Madness conversion. I can't remember the name of the developer. It's like Home Tech or something, like Home Base. Home Base. No, you know what I mean. Like Home Tech or something like that. I can't remember. Home Data, that was it. And they did a conversion of Marble Madness for the Sharp, and it's beautiful. It's perfect. It's just almost arcade perfect. What I've noticed about the Sharp is that the video resolutions are kind of unique, and they haven't always been accurately emulated. The emulator that I use, I think it's called Win X68K or something. I haven't used that for ages. For me, since I've been going into hardware, I've really sort of been turned off by emulation. And to me, emulators are they're almost too easy. I want to be able to get the machine for real. I want to experience the machine and its gaming completely real, basically, as much as humanly possible. So I would absolutely do anything to be able to get my hands on a Sharp X68K. I would covet the thing. I mean, the thing would be sat on a throne of cherry blossoms in the corner of my room under lock and key. You know, well, maybe not like that, but you know what I'm saying. It would be absolutely coveted to death. Basically, I'd absolutely love to I'd mollycoddle it to pieces. That would be that to me, that is at the top of the list in terms of what it would mean to me as a gamer. Now, the second machine that I have interest in is the FM Towns. Now, I've gone on about this, you know, quite a lot in previous videos, and you know, my radio show last time around. And the FM Towns Marty is really what I'm aiming for in terms of cost and what it means. I can't be sure about the rarity of it. I think maybe a standard FM Towns would probably be more accurate. Would probably be a more cheaper option. I don't know, but for me, the FM Towns Marty or FM Towns would be where it's at for me. Now, again, very surprising, the arcade games that are on there, the conversions that are on there, the Taito games, some of the more obscure Sega titles that are on there. There's a real rich diversity of gaming on there, and because you've got that kind of PC architecture thing going on, you've got that kind of PC thing going on, you've got games that are PC friendly on there as well. There's I've seen conversions of things like Ultima Underworld, Ultima, I've seen Lemmings 2, the Tribes of all things. To be able to get involved, to be able to experience those games from that perspective would be fantastic. The FM Towns as a machine is extremely powerful for what it would give, for what it gave you back in the day, and to be able to experience that would be a fantastic. It'd be a fantastic nostalgic hit for me, basically. I've always had interest in Japanese computers for a long time, and the only thing that's really stopped me from sort of getting deep into the subject is purely finance. It's purely down to the lack of financial. I ain't got enough finances basically to be able to give machines like that to be able to bring a machine like that into this country, to be able to import something like that over here would be an expensive undertaking, and then to be able to look after it and maintain it, it would take a lot financially to be able to keep that up. I know, for example, with the Sharp, obviously there'll be there's quite a lot of aspects to the Sharp that are sort of off-the-shelf components and things like that, but I know that the Sharp has quite a lot of custom components in there. So I know that it'd be difficult to maintain something like that over time. However, to be able to own those machines would be fantastic. Now, I did mention a third machine. Now, the thing is, I kind of mentioned it as a computer, that's not right, to be honest. It's really just a console, that's it. And obviously, it's the Neo Geo AES. Now, I love the Neo Geo. I've got a Neo Geo CDZ, and I've always wanted a Neo Geo in some form. Now, again, the ideal scenario for me, as a gamer, would be to have the MVS, purely because I'd be able to, enjoy the proper arcade experience. However, I've heard a lot of people say you can get consoleized MVSs, which is just fantastic for me. That would be the pinnacle. But as far as I'm concerned, it's just totally out of my price range. To be able to get the system itself, you're looking at a lot of money there, £200 plus. Then you're looking at the games. Just to be able to get a game that has a basic, that's pretty rudimentary, maybe like a puzzle game or something, would cost 50, 60 plus pounds. Then you've got the games like Metal Slug, which are insane in terms of their cost. Now, there has to be a point where you say to yourself, well, there's nothing more I can do. For me, I'm one of these people where I'm real tenacious. I'll do whatever it takes. You know what I mean? If I can if I can see something like a reasonable, to me, £150 would. If someone said to me, "Here's a Neo Geo AES, I want £150 for it," I would seriously consider that. To the point where I would probably, do what I needed to do to get that to make that happen. I remember when I got my Virtual Boy for the first time. I'm sure if Steve Benway's listening to this, he'll laugh because I messaged him, I PM'd him, just totally randomly. Oh, by the way, Steve, I've got a Virtual Boy. Now, what the shit do I do with it? I just was like, oh my god, I've got a Virtual Boy. I remember at the time, I paid over the odds for it. It was about £110 all told. With the postage and everything else. And, in fairness, that was quite a lot. if I recall. I remember it. I can't remember how much was it. I can't remember. I might have documented it somewhere. I can't remember, but I think it was roughly about £110, something like that. And don't get me wrong, you know, it was brand new virtually. It had been used like twice, and that when people say that, I laugh because it's like BS, total BS, right? But when I actually got down to actually, you know, breaking that sucker open and having a look at it, it was literally untouched. It was like, you know, it was touched, but it was literally used like it was obvious that the person had not used it or given it any kind of serious use. I still covet my Virtual Boy. My problem is that the Virtual Boy is such a unique experience that if you don't play it but you own it, it's kind of like you're kind of selling yourself short. You've got to play on the Virtual Boy. Long Boys Post 975 did a little playthrough of Wario Land running on the Virtual Boy. I hope you won't mind me saying this, but I think I'm almost saying he was running it off some kind. It was obvious he was running it off an emulator. I'd hasten to maybe take a wild guess and say that he was doing it on his Wii. If he was doing it on his Wii, then all credit to him, because we're kudos to him, because a Virtual Boy emulator on a Wii, that's pretty cool. I'm not entirely sure. I don't know, but when I saw that video, it kind of made me wince a little bit. Not in a not in a nasty way, a negative way, or anything like that. But it kind of made me think to myself, well, a large percentage of the gameplay on a Virtual Boy game is down to the experience. The thing about Wario Land is that you've got a 3D perspective into the screen. You've got a foreground and a background thing going on there. You've got mechanics that are based on 3D. So some of the actual gameplay elements require the use of like a strong 3D element. And if you take that away, what you're left with is basically Super Mario Brothers. Do you know what I'm saying? It's kind of like just not it's not what it was meant to be. It's the same with Galactic Pinball. When I originally played Galactic Pinball, I actually played it on the Reality Boy emulator, and it was pinball to me. It was slightly squiffy pinball. Do you know what I'm saying? It was pinball with a flat puck thing. And I'm thinking to myself, well, why a puck? Why this design choice? Why the strange physics on the puck? Why this? Why that? You know, and I kept umming and ahhing at it. I thought, well, why is this held in any kind of regard? It's a slightly pappy pinball game. And then I played it with 3D, and it changes everything. Basically, the perspective of it is what is partly the reason down to the ball physics. The 3D and everything else is what makes the game, you know. And this is the thing about it with me. The point I'm trying to sort of make, obviously I'm doing it in a long-winded way, but the point I'm sort of trying to make about the Virtual Boy, about Japanese machines, about machines that I've got in my collection, machines that I want, is that I don't want to cop out by just getting the emulator. There's an emulator for the FM Towns called UNZ, which is, or I think it might just even been pronounced UNZ, but the actual FM Towns emulator is brilliant, technically. However, it is weak in the sense that it doesn't give me that sat in front of the screen kind of experience. It doesn't give me that sort of... I always describe it to people as tactile feedback, but that's not the right phrasing at all. But that experience, when you pick up a Master System joypad, for example, it's square, it's kind of cumbersome, not the best pad. However, if I played it with an Xbox controller on an emulator, it's just not the same, you know. And that is what I'm all about basically nowadays, is getting that full experience. Outside of what I do on YouTube, outside of my hobby, life is pretty rudimentary, you know. My lifestyle is pretty straightforward and pretty simplistic, to be honest with you. And I don't do a huge amount outside of my hobby. when I do my job, like my regular work, it is pretty much do your job, live your life, come home. And when I'm home, I want to do, I know it sounds daft, but I want to be embroiled in what I enjoy, and I want to get surrounded by things that are new and original and exciting and fun. The worst thing for me is to play something that is pretty much the standard. I don't want to play the standard. I want to play something that breaks the mould. I want to play something that breaks the standard. Now, for me, there are machines which Japanese people have owned for a long time, and they don't really break the mould for the Japanese folk out there, but they do to me. And that is what the Sharp means to me. That's what the FM Tones Mine means to me. Even something like the Neo Geo AES, to me, it's mould breaking stuff. To own an AES is pretty special. It's pretty beautiful. It's a nice thing to have. And again, it comes back to price and what you get for your money and stuff like that. Now, I don't know. I mean, maybe I should wait a while, bide my time, save up a little bit, and then just go crazy one day and just get it. But the problem is, there's a lot of things in life that that you've got to think about. I mean, I've reached the stage now. I mean, I'm going to be 31 soon. I'm a 31-year-old boy. Do you know what I'm saying? And this is the thing about what I do. Sometimes I do the things that I do. I do my gaming, I do my hobbies, I live my life sort of thing, and I do what I need to do from a day-to-day point of view. And I think to myself, I think to myself about like real life stuff, as they call it. The life shit, as as folks say. And I think to myself, I mean, is there anybody else that would, apart from you guys out there, is there anybody else that would appreciate this or appreciate me for being like this? And sometimes, I mean, I get philosophical about things, and I think that's one of the reasons why I want to do the radio show and sort of put a bit more effort into the radio shows, because I get very philosophical, and I don't think that I can. I don't think I can keep doing philosophical chat videos and things like that. I think sometimes, you don't want to see me squinting while I consider the philosophical musings of a guy that's obsessed with games. What I'm interested in at the moment is, apart from obviously the machines that I've mentioned to you, is also the machines that I have and what they mean to me. I'm considering doing more videos for the PCFX and things like that. However, I want to really sort of become more in depth in my channel and stuff like that. My bread and butter, the thing that gives me most joy as a content creator, in inverted commas, is the gameplays. I like to showcase as much as I can. I believe in a good percentage of quality as well as quantity. I think quantity plays a part. I think you need to have a nice flow of content. So I'm always into doing the gameplays and things like that. However, I would like to, I've started doing it now, I would like to do something with more depth and more feeling. I want to give you guys something that you can come back to and look at and be in, there's a guy on YouTube, Spider1A, Turbo Views, Chris Bucci, that's him. Chris Bucci does, the bulk of what he does, strictly speaking, is the Turbo Views. And that's basically Turbo Graphics 16 reviews, and they're sort of presented in a style which gives you a nice kind of snapshot of the game and his feelings and opinions on it. And that's fantastic. It's brilliant. It's so well made. It's beautiful, and he's done like DVD box sets to reflect that. So he's got a nice little selection of of reviews and volumes and things, and they come together and they make like a really nice little collector's pack. And when he's finished doing his reviews, he's complete. You know, when he's gone through every US TurboGrafx game, it'll make a beautiful collection in terms of, you know, presentation and what they are as a complete package. And I would like to do something that is a percentage of that, in the sense that I would like to have, for example, a playlist with a game that's been completely opened up and shown to you and exposed, be it in a playing through it type of way, or in a kind of in-depth kind of discussion about it and stuff like that. So I've got some real sort of like ambitious plans to take the experiences that I've learned from YouTube and sort of develop them into something that is really strong, and gives you guys something to come back to. The radio show is kind of just something that gives me a little bit of pleasure to be able to have a conversation that you guys hopefully will connect with. So I'm just having a look at my counter and things like that. I'm coming up to like 22 minutes, is that? Something like that. So what I'm going to do is do a few messages and a few random bits and pieces. This is from one of my good buddies. He's called Brett Badley. He does a channel which is, I hope you don't mind me saying, it's kind of a bit random, and it's kind of cool as well. The randomness is not a bad thing. The randomness, in my opinion, is a good thing. He's got a very he's got a very kind of unique sense of humour, which is it's either a good thing or a bad thing depending on which side of the fence you sit on, kind of thing, you know. For me, very good, and I happily promote him because I don't really, you know, I just think he's really good to listen to and stuff like that. Some of what he does is very cheeky sometimes. I must admit, he did nick some of my ideas, which aren't my ideas, by the way. But truthfully, the guy is worth your attention. Even if you only watch like 2 or 3 of his videos, you're going to get something out of it one way or the other. And he's really receptive to people's comments and things like that, and he's always trying to improve. And what I like about him is that he takes a really kind of slapstick, sodic kind of approach, and it's got to be commended. So he's done some random little bits for me to promote his channel, so I'm going to consider those the adverts, if you like. So have a listen to these interesting Brett Badley styled messages, and I'll come back to you shortly with some more gab. Alright guys, have a listen to these excellent, wonderful, genius random messages.
Yo, get off this radio station. Get off it now. Come to Brett Badley FM, your new place with the living greats. Now for the weather. As usual in the UK, the weather is shit.
Blaster, Master, Cruster, Red Badley,
Welcome back to the GB Radio Show with your host GB, the only man with a face designed for radio. Welcome back to the GB Radio Show. And in this part, I'm going to talk about semi-gaming related stuff. I'm not really going to be able to classify this intelligently, so I'm just going to roll with it. I kind of went off on tangents in my last segment, and the reason why is because I tend to get very embroiled in my hobby and in, you know, what I'm talking about and things like that, and I'm always influenced by the things I see on YouTube, by other people's videos and stuff like that. A lot of people that I'm sub to do some really amazing stuff, genuinely amazing stuff, and, you know, to me, I always name drop at some point. And I think that's the classic bad thing to do. Because I shouldn't just name drop. I should be telling you the reasons why, and maybe just keeping it brief and succinct. Is that the right word? And to the point. But for me, one of the reasons, this is going to sound really bad, but one of the reasons why I'm doing the radio show is because I know that I'm kind of long-winded and rambly. So it's about it's about putting it in a format that makes that kind of better. Read better as easier to upload. no, I'm joking. But seriously, guys, one of the reasons why I'm doing the radio show is to get really sort of a bit more in depth from a thought, kind of almost psychological point of view. Brett Badley was talking to me about possibly doing another room tour. I did a room tour vid some time ago, and he's asked me to do another room tour vid. And I was sort of like nodding like the Churchill dog, saying, "Oh yeah, that's yeah, good, yeah, good." And it's not good. I don't think. Maybe this is wrong. I don't know. But I'm going to tell you the truth. I'm going to tell you the brutal truth. My collection is quite nice. I'm quite pleased with it. I'm quite happy with it in the sense that you're looking at about 30 consoles there. You know, consoles, computers, handhelds. I'm quite pleased with that, considering who I am. You know, I'm just a regular Joe kind of kid, and to have that is quite exciting. That's quite nice. However, my collection at the moment is literally strewn about my flat with absolutely no sense of purpose other than it's easy to switch on at that moment. I've not really at all organised my stuff other than the stuff that's immediately near the TV. I would be embarrassed to show that, but I may show it, because it's the embarrassment that would drive me. I know that sounds like really stupid, but it's like where I live, my flat. It's again, there's a recurring theme here about my life. Everything in my flat is kind of rudimentary and straightforward. It's kind of just there and it works and it does its job. The taps run, the kettle works, you know, the electrics switch on and off when you need them to. There's a boiler, you know, that kind of thing, right? It sort of just, it does what a flat does and nothing more. My seats, they have the potential to be sat on, you know, that kind of thing. So when I come home of an evening and stuff like that, I don't really have anything else in my life. Do you know what I mean? I don't really have anything else to. This is sounding really bad, isn't it? But because of that, it's just easy for me. I can just throw caution to the wind a little bit. I can just think, well, sod it. You know, I'm not really. I don't really care if the Spectrum's on top of the top of the CRT. I don't really care if there's an Atari 65XE underneath a barcode battler. You know, it's not of concern to me to rest my NES on top of a Gamecom box. You know, it's what you do, right, to be able to get access to the games quickly. So I don't concern myself with the logistics of it. I used to quite heavily. My last room tour was kind of quite pleasing because I'd kind of got everything in a nice place and everything kind of clicked into place. Now, I'm toying with the idea of doing some kind of room tour. However, I think it would be embarrassing. I think you would look at it and go, does he give a shit at all? And the honest and brutal answer to that is I'm not hugely concerned. My stuff I take good care of. I'm really quite adamant about that. And all of the things that I've got, all my consoles, games, everything like that, I look after. as you know. However, I'm not fussed about how it's presented because it's only me who's really bothering with it. So when I was talking a bit badly about it, I kind of downplayed everything, but I'm now telling you guys on my radio show the brutal truth, and that's basically it. I'll probably end up doing some kind of room tour video, but I'm not really hugely concerned at the moment about really doing that, to be honest with you. Maybe that's a bit selfish, I don't know. Let me know in the comments. Do you think I should do a room tour vid? Should I do a tag video? Basically, guys, it's as simple as this. I don't want to just do something for the sake of doing it, you know. I want to give even something like gameplays. Even if I did like 3 gameplays in a row, or I did 3 gameplays of maybe simplistic games or games that maybe you guys are already fully aware of. I know that those games mean something to me, and playing them means something to me, and I know that some percentage of that does come across in my vids. When I do gameplay vids and stuff like that, I know that I'm giving something there. I know that I'm not just as much as I am doing these things. I'm not just pointing the camera and going bleh. The bleh bit is important. I put some modicum of emotion into that. It's interesting if you're a subscriber that's been on for a few months with me, you'll probably know about my ups and downs in terms of the content. Some of my gameplay vids were like, yeah, it's a game and I like it and it's kind of cool and that, but what was I saying? That kind of a thing. And then in another one, I'd be like psyched to the point of silliness. Oh, this game is like so good, yeah, it's like the best ever. Aero the Acrobat rules. The Aero the Acrobat gameplay vid I deleted, by the way. Because it sounded like I was on some kind of, it sounded like I was on drugs, basically. I was just wired. And I don't know why I was that wired over Aero the Acrobat, you know what I'm saying? Aero the Acrobat on the SNES, for God's sake. I was like, oh my god, he's doing acrobatics. He's not, he's just jumping. And I got a bit wired over it. If I was going to get wired over a game, if I was going to go like totally apeshit over a game, like really like, whoa, this is amazing, right? And like totally like get excited with myself, I would do it over something like Elfmania on the Amiga. See, that's cool. Or Shadow of Memories on the Xbox. There you go. Now that is a game. That is a game. That is not just a game. That is an experience. That is an experience. More than anything else you'll ever play, Shadow of Memories is an experience. If you like games, play Shadow of Memories. If you like complicated films, play Shadow of Memories. If you like time travel, play Shadow of Memories. Basically, play Shadow of Memories. I'm toying with the idea of coming up with new kind of gameplays and stuff like that. The ideas that I've got in mind are to use is to use emulators of some description to illustrate some of the games that I want to do. You know, for example, if I wanted to do like a long play, because I'm thinking of doing long plays, I'd like to do something with with an emulator. However, I don't know. I'm throwing ideas wildly, and I think that's important, because I think that somewhere in amongst all my wildness there'll be a gem of something that you guys might be interested in viewing and being part of. So there you go. Now, I'm probably going to chuck in a few random bits and pieces, do a few more little random segs, as they're called, and then I'll shut it down. I'll call it a show. But yeah, I'll chuck in a few more random messages and things like that, and I will see you guys around. Probably doing my Shadowgate stuff, doing my gameplays, the usual stuff. And I'm probably going to be thinking about doing another radio show. So, what I'll say to you guys is have a good one. See you around. Enjoy these very sexy messages. And I will see you on the next one. Laters.
I can't think of anything to say, what the fuck?
It's the Sexy GB Radio Show! Oh, that GB is so nice! I really like him! I'm so pleased he's doing a radio show! I wonder what he's gonna do next! That crazy, crazy bastard!
Have you played Atari today?